Captain Marcus Chen had seen many strange things during his 15 years aboard the diplomatic vessel Harmony's Edge, but nothing had prepared him for the sight of a 7-foot-tall crystalline being huddled in the corner of a Terran refugee camp on Kepler 442b. The being, clearly female by her elegant flowing form, sat apart from the other refugees, her translucent blue skin dimmed to an almost gray pallor. Her forearms were wrapped around her knees, and the bioluminescent patterns that typically danced across Zephyrian skin were completely dark. She looked like she hadn't eaten in days. "Who is she?" Marcus asked Dr. Sarah Okafor, the camp's chief medical officer. "We don't know. She arrived 3 days ago on a damaged escape pod, hasn't spoken a word to anyone, not even in Zephyrian. The universal translators can't get a read on her if she won't communicate." Sarah's expression was troubled. "She won't eat their traditional foods, won't interact with the other Zephyrian refugees. It's like she's lost." Marcus studied the alien woman. The Zephyrians were a proud species. Their entire culture revolved around honor, hierarchy, and elaborate social rituals. To see one so utterly defeated was disturbing. The war with the Void Collective had displaced millions across the galaxy, but most refugees maintained some semblance of their cultural identity. "Has anyone tried human food?" Marcus asked suddenly. Sarah blinked. "Human food? Marcus, their digestive systems are completely different. The proteins alone could..." "Not to eat." As a gesture, Marcus was already walking toward the supply depot. "Trust me on this." 20 minutes later, Marcus returned with a steaming bowl of chicken soup and a piece of warm bread. The other refugees watched with curiosity as the human captain approached their silent companion. She didn't look up as he settled cross-legged on the ground beside her. "I know you probably can't eat this," Marcus said quietly, setting the bowl between them. "But where I come from, when someone is hurting, we share food. It's not about the nutrients. It's about showing someone they're not alone." The Zephyrian's head tilted slightly, her large, opal-like eyes focusing on the bowl. For the first time in 3 days, the faintest glimmer of bioluminescent patterns flickered across her skin. Marcus tore the bread in half and placed one piece beside the bowl. In human culture, breaking bread together means trust, peace, family. He took a small bite of his piece. "You don't have to eat it. You don't have to be alone." The alien woman stared at the simple gesture for a long moment. Then, with movements as delicate as a dancer's, she reached out with one slender hand and touched the bread. She didn't eat it, but she held it, her fingers trembling. "My name is Marcus," he continued, keeping his voice soft. "I'm a captain, but right now I'm just someone who knows what it's like to be far from home." For hours they sat in comfortable silence. Other refugees gradually joined them, forming a quiet circle around the human and the mysterious Zephyrian. Marcus shared stories of Earth, of rain and oceans and forests. The alien woman never spoke, but her bioluminescent patterns grew brighter with each tale. As the camp's artificial sun began its evening cycle, a commotion arose near the landing pad. Marcus looked up to see 3 sleek Zephyrian vessels descending, their hulls bearing the royal insignia of the Zephyrian sovereignty. The refugees around them began to murmur excitedly in their musical language. Even those who had been displaced by war recognized the ships of their homeland's ruling class. The vessels landed with precise grace, and a procession emerged. At its head walked Queen Lirelei herself, her crystalline form towering and magnificent, adorned with the traditional biometal jewelry of the Zephyrian royalty. Her retinue of advisors and guards followed, their movements formal and ritualistic. The Queen's eyes swept the camp with royal authority until they found the small circle where Marcus sat with the mysterious refugee. Then something extraordinary happened. Queen Lirelei's composure shattered. The proudest being in Zephyrian space fell to her knees, her forearms extended toward the humble alien woman, and wept. Not the soft weeping of grief, but the deep, resonant cries of relief that made her entire crystalline body ring like a bell. "Zara Lynn," the Queen whispered, her voice carrying across the silent camp. "My daughter, my heart, I thought you were dead." The refugee, Princess Zara Lynn, looked up at her mother with eyes full of pain and wonder. Slowly, she stood, still, clutching the piece of bread Marcus had given her. The reunion should have been immediate, but the princess hesitated. She looked back at Marcus, at the simple bowl of soup, at the circle of beings who had sat with her in silence. "This human," she said finally, her voice like wind chimes in her native tongue, "showed me that kindness needs no crown, that compassion requires no ceremony. In my darkest hour, when I had lost everything, my ship, my guards, my very identity, he gave me bread and called me family." Queen Lyrale's eyes shifted to Marcus, studying the unremarkable human who sat calmly among her subjects. "Captain Marcus Chen of the Terran Diplomatic Corps," she said, having clearly done her research. "You have given me back my daughter, but more than that." She paused, understanding dawning in her expression. "You showed her something we Zephyrians had forgotten in our ceremonies and hierarchies." "What's that, Your Majesty?" Marcus asked, rising to his feet. "That sometimes the most royal thing you can do is simply sit with someone in their pain." The Queen's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with deep emotion. "My daughter was not lost in space, Captain. She was lost to despair. You found her not with search parties or technology, but with soup and stories." Princess Zaralyn moved to her mother's side, but she kept the piece of bread in her hand. "The humans have a saying," she told the Queen. "Home is where the heart is. I learned that home isn't a place or a title. It's where someone chooses to stay when you have nothing left to offer." As the royal family prepared to depart, Princess Zaralyn turned back to Marcus one final time. "Thank you for showing me that even a princess can be lost, and even a stranger can be family." Marcus watched the Zephyrian ships disappear into the stars, carrying with them a lesson that would reshape diplomatic relations across the galaxy. Sometimes the greatest strength isn't in grand gestures or advanced technology, but in the simple willingness to sit with someone and share what little you have. The soup bowl remained where they had left it, empty now but somehow still full of everything that mattered.